Greetings, this is Kinda Dre from Garuda here to talk about Trinkets, which unlocked a week ago as of this recording. So through some crowdsourcing efforts, we've been able to learn a lot about how they start out, how they upgrade, and find some trends and patterns with them that are different than gems in a good way. First of all, their substats are consistent. As you can see here, these are always going to turn out as the same things. They may be flat, but they're good. Actually, they're a high proportion of a high-end monster's stats, which means they're an even higher proportion of a lower monster's stats. Going to be useful for everybody. They're consistent with how they roll, they're consistent with how they unlock, and they're going to have a fairly tight range at the end of the upgrade cycle. It isn't Tina wildly flailing a hammer and hitting flat recovery every time. No, these are all going to upgrade every time that they are available to upgrade. They're the one at level 15, that's the max level. It is what it is when it unlocks. Does rare type have something to do with it? Yes, it does. This is not a ranking, however. They're very balanced with each other. We'll go over this in a bit. So let's talk about this a little bit. Flat health typically goes up to about 9k at the top, with about 400 flat defense, maybe about 450 flat recovery, and about maybe 10% crit resistance. Pretty consistent, though, you know, sometimes it varies a little bit. There's just a little bit of RNG. Flat attack, as you can see, crit damage, resistance, flat recovery, about 12 to 15% each here, and about 500 flat recovery, maybe 200. Crit resistance is like, it just directly subtracts from the enemy's crit rate. Useful for Titan, you can completely negate their crit rate. That's how it works, it directly subtracts. So this builds flat defense of actually 800, which is twice what the health relic does, and about 200 attack and between 2.5 to 5k health. So, you know, through those, when you have somebody fully equipped, you can get about 20% crit resist, which negates all Titans, including light. You'll get about 15k health, 1.5k defense, about another 1,000 recovery if you go all the way with your attack trinket. It's pretty nice. That's about 50% of the substats for, like, say, a Fire Sun Wukong, Evo 3, level 60, which might allow him to take more attack trinkets or smooth out the RNG of only having one healer. You know, it's useful. For lower end players, it's going to allow them to reach content sooner that they otherwise would have been blocked out of. You know, if you're trying to jump from Golem B8 to B10, maybe you'll find some attack trinkets make a difference for you in getting your times down to where you can do that. Get access to better gems. Awesome! So, anyway, going into how these start and how these upgrade, we're going to find these are very consistent. They are going to start with the same stats based on their star level and their rarity, as you can see here. And those are going to upgrade per level based on their star and their rarity. Not the type of rare, just the fact that they are rare. So, compare here a 4-star rare, 2800 health it starts with, which goes up about 240 per level. 6-star normal starts at 3k, only goes up 200 per level. It gets lapped by this guy. The other thing to know is that it's a lot more expensive to upgrade those 6 stars. They need about 120 of their own kind to upgrade. Whether they're rare or normal, it's the same cost. So I caution you, do not upgrade normal trinkets. They are not worth it. As you can see, their stats grow a lot less. This chart's incomplete just because we need more data. Please feed me screenshots. Find it on Reddit. Give me screenshots of things at plus 5, 10, and 15. Especially it's the same trinket. Super helpful. Will help us fill this out. But, you know, please no more data on normal. Don't sacrifice yourselves for that. We're already seeing it's not worth building, so I don't want you to punish yourselves for the sake of science any further. Anyway, level 5. This is what defense will start with, just a range of 3 values. All of these will have a range of 3 values, which is where the rare type comes in, which I'll go over in a bit. I think this one's a fluke, having the 140 there. I think that was a mislabeled one. But as you can see, there's a low, a middle, and a high, and the low tends to be about half of the high stat. And then from there you can see, you know, level 6 through 10, or 6 through 15, this is how much defense per level you'll get. It goes up every single level. So you'll be gaining this on top of also gaining the health, level 10 recovery, etc., etc. And then at level 15 you gain the final unlock, which will have a low, middle, and a high stat. We just don't have much data here. That's why it's incomplete. This chart's incomplete. The same for attack. You can see roughly how these increase. You can find this chart on the tracker online. It's in the second tab. I'll show you that in a moment, especially as I go over the rare type. I just wanted to kind of show you how this works so you know what you're looking at, like, you know, attack per level, you know, crit damage per level. There's a pretty good spread here. You're going to find attack trinkets have quite a bit of variability with how they upgrade, just by the fact that the spread's pretty big. But, you know, at the end of the day, whether you've got 18% crit damage or 14%, it's only a 4% difference. It's really not that big of a deal. So what does rare type have to do with this? Well, you see, like we said, for everyone there's a low, a middle, or a high. The rare type determines which of these it will be for each stat for a given trinket, but they do it balanced. So if one's low, then two will be high. If one's in the middle, then, you know, another one will be in the middle and another one will be high. There's always some balance with them to where, at the end of the day, they'll end up mostly the same. The only exception to this is the crit resistance glowing trinket, which I will say do not upgrade. I'll show you why in a moment. So here is the online tracker, and this here, this is just the opening page. It's like, hey, yay, I'm collecting data, please help. Yay. So second tab is upgrade costs. If you want to see how much it costs to upgrade a particular trinket for a certain range, you can see that you need 80 stars to upgrade a 2-star from level 5 to level 10. Okay, great. I hope this is explanatory. Here's the total cost for upgrading a trinket from 1 to 15. Here's just kind of a trinket equivalent of, like, how many, like, you know, 26-star trinkets will get a 1-star from 1 to 15. Okay. And over here are the point amounts, just so you can kind of see a breakdown of what you're going to need to get to the next tier. The next one over is the key one, how rares work. So there's 5 types of rares, as I showed you. Glowing, phantasmal, refined, sacred, spurious. Here's how they affect the rolls when you unlock a substat on a trinket. No, this is not the per level increase. The per level increase is consistent, but what it starts with will be determined by the rare type. So a glowing health trinket will start with low, the low of the 3 on crit resistance, and high defense and recovery. To see what that actually is, just look over at the chart over here. So, you know, starting defense. Okay, high defense. What's high defense? Well, it's 190 or 224. What's low defense in the case of refined? 90, 112. You know, the data's right there. And on these charts over here, you can see how people's have turned out. So I have this sorted by upgrade level and rare type. You can see what these look like at plus 15. So, you know, almost 9,500 health, almost 500 defense possible. Though, because this is refined, it started with low defense, so it's not nearly as high as someone with a phantasmal can get. In exchange, it has a higher crit resistance. It's up to you which one's more important to you. And in the end, because they're getting upgrades over time, it kind of balances out. You know, if you're missing 50 defense out of 500, that's only 10%. Not a big deal. Because you'll still have 450 defense at the end of the day. So I wouldn't use this to negate anything from something that you'd build, unless it is a substantial enough difference for you. You know, especially like, you know, over here getting a low defense, well, you know, 800 versus 900, whatever. The one I caution you of, you know, glowing, crit resistance. Here, the health getting, you know, instead of 5,000 health getting only 2,500, you know, you might find 2,500 health. You might want to skip the glowing crit resistance, or, you know, it might not be a big deal. If your monster's already got 50,000 health, what's 2,500, right? So I wouldn't use these to exclude anything. It's just kind of interesting information. So that's how those work. This is how these trinkets upgrade. This is all available on the Trinket Tracker if you look on Reddit, and you can see what other people have accomplished and how they're all competing with each other at the high end. Can you get better health in Railgun? I don't know. Let's find out. You know, can you get better defense in Kratos? Let's find out. Right now they're competing neck and neck, you know, hoping for more trinkets. And we're just going to see how these all turn out. So if you want to contribute, which would be lovely, you know, post screenshots there or message me on Discord, Kenneth689. You can find me in the Nested pub in the Trinket Research. Just post screenshots, plus 5, 10, 15, and I can use them to gather data to find out how something has upgraded over time. Like, Liger 0 is Liger 1 over here. That's the same trinket. Here it is at 12. Here's it at 15. Because he's indicated it's the same trinket, I can do math to figure out, okay, here's what it was, here's what it is now, how much did it increase, right? That's useful info. Plus then I can see what things unlocked as to verify whether the rare information is correct or not. So please contribute, but you don't have to. It's just super helpful. And I hope this has been informative. And take care.